All right, so this is going to be another short little update for my trading group, and we'll just touch on some of the stuff I mentioned in the last week's update and what has changed since then. So last week, I was putting a lot of emphasis on the cloud and also the Bollinger Bands. These are going to be one-day candles, and starting out the week, we saw an expansion of volume, right? Boom. And now at the close of the week, we've done a 100% retracement. So here's our little inverted head and shoulders we made, boom. And we did a 100% retracement, basically 100% retracement. And now we're sitting right at the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders thing. Not only that, but the B bands provided no support on the midline, and they are now starting to consolidate here. We can see that they're getting a little bit of a squeeze, and the BBW is consolidating. One thing to note, we do see decreasing volume on the way down, but it's not, this doesn't seem like a lack of seller interest. This seems like a lack of total volume. And the reason why is because we see large candle spreads, continuous candle spreads on the way down. If we shift our focus to the cloud, when we did the video last week, the GQ span was right around here. The Tenkan and the Kijun were trending through the cloud, and the price was somewhere around, somewhere in here. Well, now we see quite a large rejection of multiple supports. We see rejection of the 200 EMA, 200. We see rejection of the 50 EMA, the 50. We see a rejection of the Tenkan and the Kijun. And it's just showing no signs of stopping. And not only that, but we see the GQ span has rejected the cloud here as well. So there's a lot of things going on here that are leading us to believe that, the bullish pressure is yet to be realized for a quote unquote market bottom. If we zoom out and we look at these macro fibs, if we look at like the parabolic fibs from the bottom of the parabolic rise to the top, we see it got a stiff rejection of the 60, which coincided with the rejection of the 200 and the 50 and all that good stuff. And now we're back inside the cloud. So on a macro level, this does not look bullish. It had a very strong reversal here, and it has seen, I think it's seen more continuous red days than it's seen more continuous red days in a row. I think that the only thing that trumped that was back in 2014. Someone was saying back in 2014 there was a longer streak of red days, somewhere in here. But yeah, we're seeing nothing but red days, little buyer interest, and a plowing through of support. If we're looking at it from a Wyckoff perspective, we're sitting still inside the trading range, and we are actually still on the, still on top of the previous trading range, so that's good. But a key level of support to watch, if ever there were a level of support to watch, it's going to be this guy, this blue line right here, this neckline. If we close below this neckline, I think we see a test of not only the bottom of the trading range, but potentially a test of these lows here. Because this shows a complete, so think about it like this, right? The bulls were set up. They had the go ahead to push this market to new highs, new highs being a high above this guy. They had everything in their court, and they didn't. And that fact alone is inherently bearish. The fact that we're still sitting, above the inverted head and shoulders is good. you know, obviously not good if you were buying up here, you know, in here. But until we see a close below this, this is going to be my line in the sand here. If we close below this, that's where I'm going to start looking to hedge my Bitcoin that I bought down here. Yeah, I gave away a bit of profit up here, but this is going to be my line in the sand. Typically, whenever you see a breakout and a complete retracement, that is usually a signal of a reversal. So if you see like a bull pennant, for example, say you have a bull pennant and it breaks out and it comes back and it retraces, this is usually an indication of a reversal and a continuation of the downtrend. Well, same thing works in the other way too. So if you have a inverted head and shoulders, it breaks out and it retraces and closes below the neckline, that's usually a really bad sign that the trend is actually going to continue downward rather than continuing with the macro reversal pattern. There are a couple of things, you know, still in the bull's court. Like I said, we're still inside the trading range. Overall volume is consolidating, but the fact that we're seeing such red candles on you know, fairly high volume, that is an indication that supply is still present in the market, and that's not something we want to be seeing at this stage of an accumulation trading range. It could still be an accumulation trading range, don't get me wrong, but these are not the sort of symptoms we want to be seeing if this is going to be a spring and a retest here. You know, we don't typically want to see a 61 to 70% retracement. I mean, what is this? Say it jumped up. You know, it's already retraced more than 61%. If it goes any lower, that is typically a sign of a failure of a jump across the creek. The most we really want to see for a jump across the creek to a BUEC, to a retracement, the most retracement we want to see off of a sign of strength is typically 50%. Anything lower than that, and it gets sketchy because that shows that the buyer interest was a farce and there's actually still seller interest present. So for now, it's this, personally for me, this is a no trade zone. I'll be doing some intraday stuff, but I won't be doing anything macro. I'll be waiting to see where the daily closes. If we get a close here or a rejection, maybe a bounce, that would be great. But at the moment, it is not situated in a very bullish fashion because the supply is still very present in the market. So I'll probably do a stream later on in the week. If something happens, you know, bullish or bearish, I'll try to do an update. But for right now, this is a no trade zone for macro patterns. I'm waiting to see if it closes below this neckline or if we get a bounce of some sort. But yeah, you know, if you have any further questions, you know, hit me up in the Discord and we can talk about them, or if you'd like anything clarified, we can talk about that as well. But for those of you who aren't already in the trading community, if you'd like access to this sort of analysis on a daily basis, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and sign up today. Other than that, be careful. There are a lot of alt rallies going on right now, and they could be leading to some traps. So be careful out there and have a great rest of your day.